All right, team, listen up. This crew is about family, but the game has changed now. Dominic Toretto just went rogue.
You gonna turn your back on family?
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Christy and Alonzo, we live our lives a quarter mile at a time.
We do, but now there are Cuban miles to be lived.
Whatever a Cuban mile is, that like a Cuban sandwich? There's ham in it? I don't know.
It's delicious. It's a delicious mile.
Anyway, The Fate of the Furious is number 8 of the Fast and Furious saga, and I lost the toss, so Christy gets to describe it.
So this is your tiny little art house version of a Fast and Furious movie, because you have really serious Oscar-winning actors in it this time, like Charlize Theron and Helen Mirren, and they bring substance, kinda, briefly. Not really. This is about fast cars and scantily clad women and family. Hashtag family. Take a look.
I know it looks bad. Don't give up on them so easy.
We've only got one chance to make this family whole again.
Don't do this, Dom.
You ready?
One thing I can guarantee, no one's ready for this.
She's the very definition of high-tech terrorism.
There's thousands of cars in this city, and now they're all mine.
So much family.
So much. There's more family.
Yes,
this time.
because yeah, Dom betrays, and you know, as we know from having watched any 5 minutes of these movies, family is very important to Dom Toretto.
Dom goes rogue.
He goes rogue and does bad things, and we have to figure out why. And the answers are interesting. And this is one of those movies that assumes that you have seen the other 7 movies.
Oh yeah.
Like stuff comes back, and you're like, oh, we were supposed to. I didn't know that was going to be on the quiz. You know.
People were cheering at my showing. I was telling Alonzo, I saw it last night at the rave in Baldwin Hills, which is in a very ethnically mixed part of LA. This is not the ArcLight.
Right.
And so people were like fans of it, and they were like, you know, dedicated to the series, and they were into it. And like brief callbacks, like a glimmer of one person's face, and everyone was like, yes, that person's back. I'm like, wait, which one is that? Was he in 5? I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to visit the Wikipedia page beforehand if you don't remember all of the like the specifics of the plot.
There'll be a quiz at the end.
Nonetheless, yeah, you know, look, these movies are these movies, you know, and I mean they're kind of indefensible, but at the same time they're super entertaining, and I was super entertained.
I'm not sure I was as
really
entertained. Yeah,
okay.
I found it kind of dull this time.
Really?
I found the story a little dull, and yes, it wants to be about something. Much more so than its predecessors, I would say. The last one was about something, kind of just inadvertently by dint of the death of Paul Walker.
Sure,
and I
yeah.
found that one emotionally really resonant. And this one just feels like, okay, we're gonna make a shit ton more money, but we're also gonna try to balance it with like something of substance. And I found that didn't work. Like the big draggy sections of exposition didn't work for me. Charlize Theron goes massively to waste in this. You have this enormously charismatic, tremendous actress with huge range, and you stick her inside an airplane pounding away at her laptop.
Yeah, this movie does do the thing where, oh, we're hacking something, which means we type really fast.
And you have a
lot.
You have a hack off between 2 different people.
Yeah, there's so much hacking.
She's so much better than I am. Turn faster. So yeah, it's that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, look, I mean, I didn't take this thing seriously for a second. Obviously, and I don't know how much you're ever supposed to. At some point, I was thinking, you know, Vin Diesel is a terrible actor in the best way. Like, there's something about his complete blankness that is still fascinating to watch. And I thought, and these movies are the Vin Diesel of movies in that they're dumb and they don't make any sense, and they're cartoons for adults. But damn, you can't stop. I couldn't stop watching them, you know, and I was not bored, I have to say. Like I would call it out if I were, but I felt like it. I mean, yeah, the story's ridiculous, but the story tends to be ridiculous. There's a lot of chasing after MacGuffins here, you know, and multiple MacGuffins. But you know, it zipped along, and they keep upping the ante on these things. I mean, you've literally got them outrunning a nuclear submarine on the ice in Russia. It's like, okay, sure. Some reviews said within 3 movies they have to go to space. Like that's all that's left for these guys.
The final frontier.
Totally, yeah. I mean, what else did they? The gravity, you know, is that they can no longer hold them down. You mentioned the scantily clad women, and I have to say, after Cuba, we don't really get that many.
There aren't that many, yeah.
The prologue of the film is in Cuba, and Dom and Letty are on their honeymoon. Of course, there's a street race because there's always a street race. Of course, there are a bunch of bikini babes at the cars because there always are, and one of them starts the race. But then after that, like because there's one on the poster, and I was thinking these movies are always so weird about gender politics because you've either got the totally ornamental like street race girls, like with all their real estate in the camera, or you have like these hyper competent, like Letty and now Charlize Theron, like the women in the movie who get to be in the club are super smart and great at what they do and really talented, and they're either good drivers or they're good hackers or whatever. But if they're not in the club, they are total bimbos. Like there's no middle ground.
And when there is an opportunity to sexualize somebody, like I'm blanking on the name of the actress, Nathalie Emmanuel, who is the hacker. You have Tyrese and you have Ludacris hitting on her, and she could possibly care less.
Yes.
And I appreciate that that she gets.
She all but yawns in their face, which is great.
There is not that much booty shaking in this one. F. Gary Gray directed this, and there's sort of like a nod to that, like giving the people what they want off the top. But then it tries to be, I don't know. I think it tries to be substantive, and that's its problem. I know we have a sub emerging from the ice in Russia. We have cars dropping out of buildings. Like I like that sequence too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a whole New York thing. There's a shot in the New York segment that I won't give away, but I literally went.
And so it is silly. But there's one image that stuck in my mind in that whole New York segment where all of Dom's buddies, his family, are coming after him to try to, I don't know, rescue him,
corral him.
Yes, and they all harpoon him. And there's this image where he's in the middle, revving his engine and spinning his wheels, and everyone's kind of like tugging back and forth. And that sort of felt like, to me, a metaphor for the whole movie. Like it's kind of like spinning its wheels and not really going anywhere. And it's just like, all right, it's the 8th one. It's an 8th one, and there's gonna be a 9th, and there's gonna be a 10th, and I don't know that this necessarily furthers the saga in any way.
No,
it's a saga. It's a soap opera.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way: like in terms of the whole series, I'd say like 3 and 5 are the best ones, and 1, 2, and 4 are the negligible ones, and then 6, 7, and 8 are kind of firmly in the middle, where they benefit from 5 just going completely off the map and turning these into the Avengers with cars, basically.
5 is one with the safe being dragged through the streets.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
So since then, like they haven't quite rekindled the utter insanity of that movie, but at least they're on that track, which is better than the track they were on in like the first 2.
I like 6 and 7 quite a bit. I found surprising emotional resonance, which you would not look for.
Dave White, you don't even talk to him about Giselle dying at the end of 6. He can't even deal with it still.
No, but like 7 has a really loving tribute to Paul Walker.
Well, yeah, but again, as you said, that was sort of imposed upon them. They wouldn't have gone there on their own.
But they find a really solid balance in 7 between like using that death and that moment in pop culture and acknowledging it with a surprising amount of taste.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like they're exploiting Paul Walker's death. I mean, they find that tough balance, and I was impressed by that. And I sort of felt like you could end it all right here. This is a nice moment. This is a nice way to wrap it all up. But no. There are millions of dollars to be made still.
Are you crazy? They're not going to leave that on the table. And this movie has a weird relationship with the Paul Walker character because they insisted on not killing him in the movies, but they just sort of keep him conveniently off stage. But they talk about him in a way as though he were dead, in a way, like they with this reverence of somebody who's like, no, he just retired and he's living in Miami with his wife, right? That's what we've decided, but so the movie kind of weirdly has both ways, and I kind of miss Jordana Brewster. Like I would like her to maybe have some role in these movies, even if there's no more, Brian.
Why can't she be there?
Yes,
she's Dom's sister.
Absolutely.
Why can't she just hang out?
She's family, for Christ's sake.
Hashtag family.
But yeah, I had a really good time. I saw this in IMAX. They screened it for the first All Media in LA was at the big, like an actual honest to God IMAX.
Not the FOMAX.
Not the Limax, like a real IMAX, and it plays like crazy at that size, and the sound and the whole, everything. But yeah, you're right. I mean, for getting somebody as great as Charlize Theron in as a villain, they don't exploit her nearly as much. In fact, She spends so much time on that plane and in control rooms that my friend who I went with, who was who works in the industry, was like, they had her for a week. Like that was his theory, because like everything she does is in such a limited space while everybody else is traipsing around the globe.
Globe-trotting, yes, she's globe-trotting in the air, and Helen Mirren too. Gets like 2 lines.
Yeah, but you can tell she's totally doing it as a lark.
Right,
like yeah, exactly.
Helen Mirren can laugh at herself.
Totally, yeah, she's having a blast, and I mean this cast, everybody knows what movie they're in,
That's true.
and so like The Rock is doing exactly what you think The Rock is going to do, and Ludacris and Jason Statham and everybody. So
they wisecrack at the right moments. When things are stressful. Tyrese is always like nervous about heights.
or
something.
But yeah, this movie lives and dies by its set pieces, and I really liked all the set pieces.
Okay.
So
what is your number then?
I give it a 7.2.
I'm saying 5. Don't come after me. I like these movies. I do. And
this one less than others.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
So, and I do wonder though, if I had seen it in IMAX, might that have made a difference to me as far as being like an experience, a transformative experience? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of movie you have to sort of literally let run you over, because if you think about it for a second, it's sunk.
All right, so our number is a 6.1. It's a 64% on the tomato meter. Matt, by the way, is at Star Wars
Celebration.
What's it called? Experience?
Something. He's in Orlando nerding it up. So
and Ben's in Atlanta somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, so our friends are not here, but we are here. Family, the true family that counts. 6.1 is our number, 64% on the tomato meter. We'll come back in a couple of years and do the 9th one. Bye.